Hi everybody, Vale Anoa'i here. I realize it's been 3 months since I've done an art video, so I'm way overdue. And since my last video, I've done a vast amount of new paintings, so I have a lot to update you on. Let me start with this one. This one, I put out a request, and I love doing that because I ask people, what would you like to see me paint? And my fiance, Julio, said, do a cat sitting on a unicorn eating a slice of pizza. I'm like, are you kidding me? He meant it, and here it is. It's actually like probably the best unicorn I've ever done. He ended up buying it on a face mask because he liked it so much. Next, an outer space orchid. I love this painting. The way the blue dried with the purple, I'm just crazy about it. So this is a really cool orchid. I was walking around Walmart and there happened to be some orchids right by the entrance. I'm like, I need a picture of that. So I took a picture and I turned it into a painting. This is a firebird, a Native American, thunderbird, a Native American thunderbird. And because I was taking a Native American religions course at UCF, and the idea of the thunderbird just fascinated me. So here he is. Beauty, isn't he? There's a lot of colors going on in that piece. Some pinks, some grays, some muted purples. I love it. Then I started doing self-portraits because it's like, what subject do I know best? Myself. I had a little Frida Kahlo moment, so to speak, and this is one of my self-portraits. This was the first one I've done, and I was actually entering a new phase of realism, because realism was never my strength, but I'm trying to make it more of a strength. Like so, a skull with butterflies, a very realistic skull with some pretty rad butterflies. And then we have, I love this piece. It's the shape of a wolf howling, but there's a forest and waterfall and moon inside the shape of the wolf. Very nature-oriented, very cool. Oh, that's the end of that book, but worry not. There's another book where that one came from. To continue on, we have a full moon eye. I saw a similar image to this, like a photograph, and I went crazy. I'm like, I need to paint that. So I painted that. Changed it up, made it my own, but that's what I do. Here's a snake woman, very reminiscent of the myth of Adam and Eve, and she's just hanging out with a snake just wrapped around her like whatever, wearing him like a hat. Matter of fact, the inspiration image was a picture of Lady Gaga wearing this giant, ridiculous pink hat. And I liked her pose. I'm like, let me turn that into a snake instead of a hat. That's the magic of art, ladies and gentlemen. You can turn it into anything you want. The idea for this is a stained glass. I love the way light hits through a stained glass window. So I wanted to incorporate the colors of the rainbow, or the colors of the chakras, however you feel to interpret. So I wanted to start with red and work outwards into the purple. And I really, really like how it turned out. So it was better than I had expected, which is always a good thing. This is a picture of my fiance wearing a really cool red skull mask. He was just coming out of work and he snapped a picture and sent it to me, and I'm like, oh, I want to paint it. I do that a lot. I'll see a really cool photo and it's like, I need to paint it, make it my own. I've done several of this type of duality painting in the past, but this one's really cool and elaborate, and it really focuses on the left brain and the right brain and the strengths of the two sides. So this one's pretty rad. I like this one a lot. It's the first watercolor one I've done like this, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And then this one it's going to be a bright, sunshiny plague. And it's a very upbeat, pretty, cutesy version of a plague doctor. Yeah, I thought it was cute, so very upbeat for COVID-19. This one I was very much inspired by pop surrealism, so I started playing with that idea a little bit. She's an octopus woman, and she looks like really bored, but maybe because, this life fluid is leaking out of a hole in her chest that these tentacles are coming through. That could be a reason for not looking too happy. This one is called Love in the Time of COVID. I love this picture. It's two people in love wearing plague doctor outfits in the middle of a forest. I really, really like this one. A lot of people like that one, actually. It became very popular. This one, I believe I called The Great Mother. And you'll notice she's this golden figure, and there's masks of different faces of different skin colors surrounding her. So she is to each person exactly who they need, who they envision. Very much like my idea of God and divinity, that that all the many so-called gods and goddesses are all one, but wearing a different face for each person so they can relate to them on a personal level. So that's where that idea came from. And this, I really, really love this one. I called it Lacrimosa lepidoptera because the butterfly is formed from her tears. And she's some kind of fawn creature with these really cool spiral horns, but she's crying and her tears are becoming butterflies. Now, the way the blues and indigos dried in this piece, I am just crazy about it. I love that one. This one I painted on Beltane because, I mean, obviously. So she's doing a ritual in a forest. You got your earth, your air, your fire, your water, which is the rain falling on her hands. So that's where that one came from. This one I did on my birthday because I figured I need to paint something on my birthday. So it's this purple-haired, cool-looking fairy woman with a raven just chilling out on her shoulder. That's probably the best bird wing I have ever painted in my life, so I was super pleased with that one. This one addresses verbal abuse in children and how it affects them growing up. There's some very harsh phrases written in red, and you can see that the figure, the adult figure, has a sad, scared child still inside them. That stuff never goes away. Those words, those abuses, they never go away. They stay with you forever. This one is very much a duality piece again. You have your cool colors, your warm colors. It's two forms out in space just meeting each other for a kiss. So there's a lot of cool symbolism there. And oh my gosh, those color lines took for freaking ever because you had to wait for each one to dry. This is modern day Medusa. Now, I wanted to change up the image of Medusa and put some different breeds of snakes in her hair. You'll see there's a red to black. So that's not a coral snake, that's a scarlet king snake because it's not red to yellow, it's red to black. And I just wanted to put some different snakes in there, make her look very high fashion. So modern day Medusa. This is a peace frog. And how that one happened was early in the morning, I happened to glance through the glass window and I see this frog in that exact position just looking at me. I'm like, that's so cute. And then I fell in love with the way I attempted the tie-dye technique. So it's like, all right, let's turn this into a hippie frog. Why not, right? Hippie frog. This one is the May Queen. And everybody has this idea of hearts and flowers. I wanted to do an anatomical heart instead of your standard cutesy little heart like this one down here. It's like, what if she's looking at like a real heart? So I found a really good scientific image of an actual human heart. And I'm like, yeah, let's twist this one up a little bit. Then this one, she's this interesting tribal type woman with a really rad headpiece on. Or maybe they're real horns, who knows? But I love this picture. The ideas I get just come from me from everywhere. This one, of course, a line from Les Mis, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Victor Hugo, who wrote Les Miserables. This is just a really hopeful image of no matter how dark things seem to be, eventually the sun will rise again. Something we all need to remember in the time of COVID. This is a woman facing this giant white dragon. And the image came to me during a meditation while I was in a mindfulness group, a Zoom group that I do every week with some friends. And this image of myself facing this giant white dragon made of ice came to me. And I'm like, I gotta paint it! Right this second I have to paint it. So as soon as I logged off from the Zoom, I sketched it down and then I painted. Now this obviously is some of the feelings and emotions and fears that are associated with COVID-19. So each strand of her colorful hair has a different feeling or emotion attached to it. You've got anxiety, loneliness, bitterness, impatience, grief, worry, frustration, fear, hopelessness, loss, depression, uncertainty, anger. So these are all the things that I was feeling earlier when all this was first really becoming a major problem. This is the polar opposite, a very cheerful piece with some canaries surrounding a woman whose hair is just blowing in the breeze. So she's Canary Woman. And I hadn't done a bird woman painting in a long time, and I had a series of those going, so I'm like, let me do that one. This one here, it fell out of the book. This one is a collaboration. Julio sketched Sami and said, I don't want you to paint her, just paint the background. So this is one of our many collaborations. And this one is called What Hands Do. The idea came to me, I just decided, let me do something that's related to a hand. So I traced my hand like a preschooler, but then I started writing down all the things that hands do, the positive and the negative, the helpful and the hurtful. And then I said, I need to throw the rainbow colors in here. So there it is, What Hands Do. Then my 3 very dear friends who I'm in the Zoom mindfulness group with, I decided to do a special piece for each of them. This one is for Lena, and it's a life lesson related to feelings that they were having at the time. This one was for Ruth, and each one again has a special life lesson. And this one is for Mala. Now, oddly enough, as crazy as intuition works, right? Each one of them told me that the painting that I gave them was exactly what they needed. It was exactly what they were feeling. So my intuition just kicked on and ran with it. Then I believe there's yes, there are more new ones. Let me just hold on a second. I gotta get the book. Here it is, my most recent. Hopefully I have enough video space left on my phone. So this one's called Let It Be. I was obviously listening to the Beatles, Let It Be, and the image came to me. And then after I painted it, I said, I need to do a version of a black woman feeling the exact same thing. So again, the image was there, and I let the song play as I was painting them. And then this is a beautiful reflective sunset or sunrise over a lake. And the reason for all the pink clouds is I went outside early one morning and the sun was rising and this whole sky was just pink and gold. And I'm like, yes, that's going to get painted stat. Speaking of sun, this is a literal sunflower. And you can see the spiral because that's very much a personal symbol of mine. And there's petals around the sunlight. This is another one of my self-portraits. And I really like this one. I take selfies and then I paint them because it's helping me improve my realism and my human face technique. This one's another one that the image came to me while I was meditating in the mindfulness group. Really, really interesting. A purple pyramid with a figure inside meditating and over this crazy, beautiful purple ocean. So that was a very profound vision I had. This one, I painted this after I watched the series finale of Sons of Anarchy. That's where the crows all come from. The crows have flown away, but the raven chose to stay. So I was very much obsessed with Sons of Anarchy, so that's where that one came from. This is a beautiful, just simple purple sky and sea scene. Very big into the purples and clouds and oceans. And now this one, my friend Mala commissioned me to do a bigger canvas piece of this. But I had sketched down the idea, and I liked this sketch so much that I'm like, shoot, I'm going to paint this. Why not, right? So this is just a basic version of what she commissioned me to do. Hers is more elaborate, and there's some more detailing, but I didn't want to do an exact copy of what I did for her, so here's the watercolor on paper version. She's amazing. This Indian, powerful woman. This one is based on myself and my fabulous new haircut, holding a peacock, and it's called Holding Beauty. And again, there's that deep, beautiful purple in the background that I'm so obsessed with because purple is my favorite color. Here's another self-portrait from a funny angle I was in the picture. So it's like, well, let me try to catch that. So I'm very pleased with the eyes in particular on this one. My realism is definitely growing. Here is the almighty Baby Yoda, because I bought this little guy, and he asked me to do a self-portrait. Well, a portrait of him, so thank you, Baby Yoda. He's my artistic inspiration, and I love him so much. This one is, the idea came to me because I was thinking of the term starry-eyed. It's like, what if somebody actually had a legitimate star burning in their eye? How cool would that be? So I'm going to try to move this closer because the shading and the blending of this is some of the best I have ever done And it took a really long time because I was trying to get it just right. This one features all the moon phases, but the center three are new moon, full moon, and eclipse. And all, because I'm very obsessed with the moon. The moon is a huge thing for me, so there's that. And, oh look, another self-portrait. I was kind of leaning back, lounging back, and my eyelashes looked so crazy huge that it's like, yep, that's got to be painted. Just always trying to improve myself and my techniques. And then, I'm almost done, I promise. Another moon phase related piece with purples this time, because, you know, me and the moon. And then this one is the essence of a Taurus. She's just this beautiful, powerful, like Taurus goddess, pouring prosperity and riches out, and standing in the midst of this purple lotus. She's got all the earth colors, the flowers, the bull horns. She's fantastic. Love her. And this is my most recent. I did this one last night, and it says, someday starts right now. And the message behind that is we're always talking about, oh, someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that, someday my prince will come. Someday starts right now. Make today your someday. You know, don't wait, because who knows how much time anybody has, right? So make today your someday. That is all I have as far as my most recent art, so thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll be able to do another virtual art show soon, because my one that I did last time, 3 months ago, was immensely more successful than I ever could have imagined. I was so happy. I sold some of my large pieces and several smaller ones. I was just over the moon. So thank you to my buyers. You people are amazing and I adore you. So hopefully, you know, I'll do another art show soon. In the meantime, I will try to do more videos more often because I miss talking to you guys, you know? And I'm sure you miss hearing from me. I've been so busy with coursework, but I'm officially done with my final summer semester at UCF. So for the next 2 weeks or so, I have some free time, so I'll be doing much more painting. So I will see you next video, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend, an even better next week, and be excellent to each other.